What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today I want to go quickly through what I've come up with for a little bit of a ranking system, just so we can quantify everything. Before we get started, if you're a Lego enthusiast such as myself, go ahead and get yourself subscribed because that's what we do here. We do it all and we're always improving. And one more thing, thank you for watching. I'm a math guy and you gotta boil everything down to numbers for me. If I see something as a number, if I see that scores a 45 while something else scores a 38, I know where my money's going. And that just makes it easier for everybody. So let's get into it. So I took a long time thinking about this and I got it boiled down to 5 categories that I feel best represent most Lego sets. And it should be built in such a way that a small set can still score large and rank up against a bigger set. So my first category is experience. And what I mean by that is mostly how do I feel while I'm enjoying my Lego build? Are there a lot of stickers or are there more printed pieces? Do the instructions give me bonus information about the subject material? Because I'm just going to give you some points. Are there things even beyond that? Some sets come with podcasts. How is the box set up? Is it pretty to unbox? Because that'll work for me too. So on one end of the spectrum, you've got something like a poly bag. The experience is pretty black and white, not particularly interesting. You dump one bag out and you're done. Get it out of my face. But then on the 10 side of the scale, you got your 1/8 Technic supercars. Those things are incredible experiences. You got podcasts, you got beautiful instruction booklets you can put out on your coffee table and your wife won't divorce you. You've got boxes that mimic the cars and just look stunning, and they got embossed prints. Next up, we're going with accessibility. Accessibility, I want to break it down into, can I find it lots of places? If I can only find it at the Lego store, that ain't very accessible. Also, does it ever go on sale? That makes it more accessible as well. Or is it locked behind huge prices? To better clarify the scale on this one for accessibility, I would say something towards the 0 or 1 mark is probably a gift with purchase. You can't buy it anywhere else. It's usually locked behind a big paywall. Whereas something that's extremely accessible is like a Creator 3-in-1. You can find them literally anywhere and they go on sale all the time. Super accessible. Next up is the build. Pretty straightforward one. How am I feeling during the build? Am I just waiting for it to be over? Are there a billion repetitive steps? Do I get to the end of something like I recall on the Tower Bridge instructions where you get to one, it says like times 32 and it's just a billion tan cheese slopes? That's not a good build. Or are things constantly changing? Am I doing cool little techniques? Am I really engaged and interested? So to clarify this scale, around the lower end, you'd have something maybe like the world map. Yeah, it's got a ton of pieces, seems like great value, but it's boring. It's just a bunch of tiny little studs that you're just not interesting. On the higher end of the scale, you'd have something like most of the good speed champions. The build's engaging. It doesn't feel drawn out. You've got cool build techniques. Next, I'll hop straight into my next category 4, and that is value. A lot of people use price per part to determine value. They like to use the 10-cent ratio. And while that is maybe a good place to start, I think it can be more than that because a set that costs more based on the parts isn't necessarily bad value. For example, if you're getting some specialized minifigures or you're getting some big rare parts or cool colors, then that might be of value to you. On the lower end of the spectrum for this, I would look to something like the Ultimate Collector Series Hulk, which seems like a pretty bad value. It's quite expensive for what you get. It's not really playable, and even on the display side, as many people have pointed out, it's not as accurate as perhaps it should be, especially especially at that high price point. You would expect a really top tier display piece. So you're not really getting that value. On the other side, I would look at something like the 3-in-1 castle. Even just the flagship model, the box model, is a beautiful thing. You've got that price per part if that's of interest to you. It looks beautiful. And then you flip over and you look, oh, I can make 2 other things with it. That's good value. It's playable, it's displayable, it's got a lot going for it. Final category is going to be the final product. This doesn't have to mean that it's this big, beautiful thing you get to look at. Basically, what I'm looking at is, does the end product reflect what you expect when you pick it up off the shelf and buy it? For the lower end of the spectrum, there's not a ton here, to be honest. I would look at maybe, and it's not come out yet, so I can't say for certain, but potentially that new BTS set where you look at it and it looks pretty cool. There's a lot of cool scenes, but once you get behind it, it feels like there's maybe not that much meat and potatoes underneath. Also a lot of stickers and stuff like that. But again, that could change. But on the higher end of the spectrum, I would give something like this, for example. I looked at the box and I was hoping for something that displayed nice and was a good representation of what I saw in the game. And the tall neck does that beautifully. It's got a lovely base. It stands very majestic and it just does all that was asked of it and more. It's just a thing of beauty that just brings me a lot of joy. Finally, let's quickly discuss the ranking scale and what these 5 categories are going to mean and how we're going to sum them up and come to conclusions. Obviously, the 5 numbers, we're going to score them out of 10. The number at the end is then going to be out of 50. You can double that and get yourself a percentage out of 100. On the one end, you'll have your 0 to 20%. That's going to be your hard pass. Next after that, you'll have the 20 to 40%. That's going to be the you got it as a gift, nod politely, and then quietly forget about it as it fades into obscurity ranking. Next up, you'll have the 40 to 60 percentile, which is going to be your scrap for parts, buy it on sale, break it down, get some good parts to build something else with. Next up, you'll have 60 to 80, where we like the set, we want it, but we're going to wait for a sale. And finally, we'll get the 8 to 10 range. That's going to be our hot buy, where you just go out and you buy it because that set is amazing. Doesn't matter if it ever goes on sale because you want it. It's excellent. It's got good build experience, accessibility, value, and the final product is killer. You need it. And don't worry, we're going to go back and rate all the sets that we've already taken a look at. So that's going to be my rating system going forward. See if it works. Probably got some kinks to work out, but good place to start. Sometimes you just got to get in there. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please feel free to give a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about it. Think it works? If it could use some tweaks, I'd love to hear them. Chuck it down there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later.